Hi everybody, my name is Rebecca. I am doing this presentation that I've titled Comparison of Theories of Personality by Erik Erikson and Gordon Allport. You'll have to excuse my voice. I'm dealing with a little bit of a cold, but stay with me here. Let's dive right in. So the first article I chose to review is an article about Erik Erikson dealing with his theory of despair versus integrity and how using narrative therapy for older individuals can help them to reach this level of integrity versus, despair, which is not the preferred outcome. I kind of emphasize that integrity means that one can look back on their life with contentment and joy, knowing that they lived the best life possible. And despair meaning that one looks back on their life with regret and feeling that they had many unaccomplished goals, and there's just overall feeling of, depression. It is really important for older adults to have a healthy view of their life up until this point so that they can live out the rest of their days with minimal anxiety and, abstain from those depressive tendencies. Good Case and Love, which are the authors of this article, discuss how narrative therapy can help older adults come to have a healthy view of their lives and, like I said, ultimately reach this integrity. The main ideas of this article are depression in older adults and how a lot of times that can be misdiagnosed. Erikson's stage of integrity versus despair in the older adults, life review, and then they kind of break down this process of narrative therapy, which includes, client tells story, mapping the influence through externalization, identifying unique outcomes, remembering the story, which isn't remembering the story. This is more of a redefining and narrating, the story of your life to hopefully reach a different narrative. So if an older adult is dealing with despair, they can kind of redefine their story to be able to see it in a different light, to be able to reach the integrity stage. Thickening the plot, and then solidifying and exploring the potential for the preferred narrative. Like I said, this idea of integrity. And the ways in which this article was effective and helpful, it was really interesting. It was insightful and enlightening, first of all. It showed a distinct and well thought out strategy in terms of how this therapy method would work when practiced on older adults. They thoroughly explained the step-by-step narrative therapy process because I had never heard of that before, so it was really cool to just be able to read the step-by-step, process of how that would work. And then they also used many references to other authors, scientists, and psychologists to bring a good reputation, to their article and to this narrative method. The second article I chose to review is an article about Gordon Allport, and David Zuroff does a great job of explaining Gordon Allport's theory of traits and breaking down how Allport actually defined traits. So he says, contemporary discussions have generally defined a trait as a pervasive cross-situational consistency in behavior. And a careful examination of Allport's writings reveal that he did not believe in such pervasive consistencies. In fact, he maintained that behavior in different situations is frequently inconsistent, even contradictory, because different traits are aroused to different degrees in different situations. Basically saying that, traits are not the same or universal throughout all circumstances or all situations. They can, vary and be different. And he also compares Allport's theory of traits to other trait theories. The main ideas of Allport's article, the article concerning Allport, is, Allport's theory of traits and how traits have many different components. Comparing Allport's theory to interactionism, comparing Allport's trait theory to other trait theories by different psychologists, which I really appreciated this aspect of it because even though he's trying to redefine, Allport's theory and kind of bring light and bring a good reputation to it, he also includes the theories from other psychologists, which I thought was pretty fair. And then lastly, just Allport's true meaning of a trait and its characteristics, instead of the kind of misinterpretation that it's been given. The ways in which this article was effective and helpful was I was informed that there are many different critiques of Alport's theory, which I wasn't aware of before. And it also didn't have an overwhelming amount of information, but just enough to be challenged. It provided a lot of references, and it also provided a thorough abstract, which was really helpful to kind of refer back to. The perspective of each of these articles was a little bit different. The first one having to do with Erikson was kind of, raising awareness and, bringing about a solution to, this idea of depression and despair in older adults and how to fix that potentially. And the article concerning Alport is kind of like facts and, agreements and disagreements and, this person thinks this and this person thinks this, and how do they compare, that kind of thing. And then comparing and contrast these two articles, I just pointed out a few things that contrasted. In the Erikson article, they show facts related to older adults and describes a method. And in the Alport article, they show multiple sides to one idea, which is Alport's trait theory. The Erikson article places emphasis on statistics. The Alport article places emphasis on theories and opinions and, who thinks what. The Erikson article uses real-life illustration to back up claims, and the Alport article uses more quotes to back up their claims. Quotes and references, and yeah. And lastly, the Erikson article explains a practical way to incorporate Erikson's theory of integrity versus despair in everyday life. And the Alport article ends with a hypothetical question to keep the reader thinking about which ideas they want to further explore. So more of like a broad, kind of keeps you thinking type of ending to that. And here are my references, and I hope you guys learned a little bit from this just like I did, and I really appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.